Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the HORUS heresy. I'm your host, David Brains, and we are lucky again to have Jamie and Leiden down from the northwest. Thank you, gents, for coming down.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah. Long drive. Yeah. You know, these guys put a lot of effort in coming down here. They've been painting furiously to get stuff, not only for the channel, but for themselves, of course. But they've done a spectacular job, and I know you were up at, what, 4:30, 5 this morning?
He hasn't slept.
I haven't slept.
I was
literally
quarter to 5.
I literally was carrying on painting, and I was like, right, I should probably get to bed. And then the alarm went off. I was like, oh well, I better get driving then.
That's bonkers. That's bonkers. And what you don't see as well, after we film these games, you know, we have some lunch and we'll have a drink or something a little bit later on, and then they'll get back in the car and you'll drive all the way back at the same day. And what sort of mileage?
Oh, I haven't got a clue, but it's about 5 hours drive.
Yeah.
Five and a bit of change.
Quite a bit, eh? Yeah. So so we are so thankful these blokes have put their time and effort to come in. And gents, we've done something quite different today, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous, but I think it's all right. You've play tested this, haven't you?
Yeah.
We have put about 7 games in.
Right.
I think with the same army list, maybe small changes just to test out different weapons or squad loadouts, but pretty much the same.
Yeah, so we've got these really beautiful looking Custodes and very striking Thousand Suns colour scheme as well.
Thank you.
For me as well, visually the colours work really well. They've got this real sort of dim tin, coppery kind of look.
Yeah. And
these really bright, flamboyant Thousand Suns, which would be cool. So what we've got for you is, you know, we did a whole 4-game series with Pete and Dan, Thousand Suns, Space Wolves, fighting on the top of Prospero, and now we've got this war underneath in the catacombs, haven't we? Where we all know that the Thousand Suns have got all this information stored up, and the Custodes have come in to say, "Oh, hang on a minute, we're not having that."
The 10,000 have been tasked to get some vital information.
That's right. So we've got a sabotage mission, Zone Mortalis. It's a unique looking board. We've tried to make it really look like the underside of Prospero. We've put a bit of sand because there's lots of bombardments happening.
Yeah. Tried to make it look like a decaying catacomb, so all the walls are crumbling, the ceiling's all broken, so there's loads of rubble and sand, and
it looks perfect.
It does look really, really good.
Hopefully we've captured that for you, just to try and add a little bit of extra aesthetic in there. But we've got a sabotage mission. There's 4 objectives on the boards. That simply the Thousand Suns have got to protect them, and the Custodes are
gonna break them.
They're gonna break them.
They're gonna break them.
We'll try.
They're gonna break them.
and you'll see the board as well. It's like a T section. So the Custodes are coming in, and they've got a decision: do they go left or do they go right? In the left and right kind of areas, there's larger consoles, isn't there?
Yeah.
So if Leiden managed to destroy those, it's 2 victory points. Jamie, if you defend them, it's worth 2 to you.
Yes. Per objective.
Per objective, yes, thank you. There are some smaller ones which are worth 1, and they are straight ahead of where Leiden deploys. So for me, it was all about trying to... These forces are powerful.
Yeah, really powerful.
Yeah, no question.
No.
So I wanted to try and split them up, but fairly. So it will be about a deployment and whether Leiden goes for both, all, 1, none, I don't know.
Yeah. And
it's how Jamie counters that. So it's been quite unique.
Yeah, thematically, we've been doing that when we've been playtesting at home as well. And thematically, it works because the Thousand Suns are already established within the catacombs. They know where their objectives are and to defend them. So Jamie's already starting off on a better foot than me, and I'm coming in from an entrance way, and then it's up to me to decide where I'm going and what best objectives to try and go for first. So it already is a little bit more advantageous to the Thousand Suns, but it should make it for a really hard, interesting fight either way.
Another thing we need to talk about as well is, you know, we've got the Emperor's Finest on the board today. There's a lot of controversy on the internet about this. We haven't restricted your list. We haven't given you a points cost, have we?
Nope.
And I think that's really important. I know, you know, in the last weekend, you know, we were told by the rules team to regulate ourselves, but I don't think that's fair. And we've had this discussion lots about mitigating points, and I think it's really unfair. But by contrast, the Thousand Suns are quite a good force anyway. So I think we should perhaps restrict Jamie's points.
Yeah, I think you should lose all Leviathan.
Yeah, I reckon,
No, I think between the pair of us, it helps when you're playing with your friend as well, because in the last game especially, when we roll the dice and the models are on the table, we shake hands and then it's game on. True. Yeah. And then you're smashing. But as long as you're playing fairly and you both are okay with the list, there's no point in regulating yourself, because it all comes down to it's a dice game. Yeah. Jamie could roll terribly on his psychic abilities, and equally I could roll terribly, and you know, that's just part and parcel of the game. but it's going to be good.
It's happened in one game before where I rolled perils after perils after perils, and my army just kept them getting pinned.
I think one squad was pinned for about 4 turns before
Yeah, 4 turns.
and cleaned up.
Yeah, just walked in because Valdo and his squad just walked in and took them out, and was like, well, that's just the nature of the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it is important to say Valdor's not in this list, though.
No. Yeah, it's a bit much. I think the actual square footage of board we're playing on is actually really small, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
we did contemplate doing a 4x4, 6x4, but I think we're trying to tell a story here. You know, we know there's a floor plan. We know that our areas aren't just
narrative.
Yeah, I think the problem with the Zone Mortalis board, it doesn't represent the catacombs that well because it is an industrial hangar bay almost, isn't it? So we've tried to make it a little bit more structured within a pyramid, I guess.
Yeah, but it looks good, especially all the sand and the rubble
Absolutely.
on it. Yeah, it's not far off a pyramid.
It's almost the same as my bases as well, so it's a win-win for me.
Oh yeah, we're close. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm very excited to see this unfold. Gents, I hope you are too.
Very excited.
Absolutely.
Should be good fun.
Nervous, but excited.
Yeah, me too. We've got small forces, 1,500 points. We're going to go right into those forces, work out exactly what they've got, and then we'll see at the beginning of turn 1.
This is 1,500 points of Legio Custodes running the Zone Mortalis Attacker Force organisation, led by a shield captain with the Warlord trait Immovable Object. The Custodians are led by a shield captain who's got a Cyber Familiar, digital lasers, he's armed with a Paragon Spear, and his Warlord trait is Immovable Object, which grants him Fearless and the Will Not Die special rule. The elites for the army are 6 Aquilon Terminators armed with Solitaire Gauntlets and Twin-Linked Adrathic Destructors. This will be the shield captain's detachment for the army. The heavy support choice for the army is a Contemptor Galatus armed with a Galatus Warblade and Presidium Shield. The troop choice for the Legio Custodians is 3 squads of 3 Custodian Guard, all armed with Guardian Spears, and the shield captain in the centre is just a stand-in Custodian Guard representing.
This is 1,500 points of 1,000 Suns, using the Defender Force Organization chart for Zone Mortalis. The Praetor is also used in the Paladin of Glory Rite of War. The Warlord of the Force for the 1,000 Suns is a Praetor in Cataphractic Terminator armour. He's also got a Psychic Mastery level 3. He's got a Combi Bolter with his fixed shells, a Paragon Blade, digital lasers, and arcane litanies. His Cut Raptora for the Force is Raptora, which is +1 to his invulnerable save. He also has rolled his powers from the Biomancy trait, which gives him the Primus power of Smite, Life Leech, Endurance, and Hemorrhage. Going alongside him in the army is a Librarian with a Psychic Mastery level 2. He's armed with Artificer armour, Force Axe, Melted Bombs, Refractor Field, Asphyx Shells, and Arcane Litanies. His Cut Arcana is Corvidai, which if he stands still, he gets to reroll once to shoot. He's also using his powers from the Cut Arcana Corvidai, which is Divination. He's got the Primus power Prescience. He's also got Forewarning and Misfortune. The first troops choice for the 1,000 Suns is a 5-man Sekhmet Terminator squad. The first troops choice of the 1,000 Suns is a 5-man Sekhmet Terminator squad. They're in Cataphractic armour. They've also got a Power Fist on the Sarge, and the rest of them have got Power Axes. They're using the Cut Arcana Raptora, which gives them +1 invulnerable save, and they've picked their powers from Pyromancy, which is Sunburst and Molten Beam. The second troop choice for the 1,000 Suns is a 5-man Sekhmet Terminator squad. These are using Tartarus Terminator armour. The squad includes a Chain Fist, and the rest of the squad have Power Axes. They're also picking their powers from Pyromancy, which get the Primus power of Flame Breath, and they've also picked Sunburst and Molten Beam. The elite's choice for the 1,000 Suns is a 10-man Veteran Tactical Squad. They're taking the Marksman trait. They've also got Psychic Mastery level 1, Melter Bombs, and its fixed shells. The Sergeant in the squad is armed with Artificer armour and a Power Weapon. They're also generating their powers from Divination. They get the Prescience, Primus power, and they also got Perfect Timing. They're also using Cut Arcana Corvidai, so if they stand still, they get to reroll once to shoot. And finally for the 1,000 Suns is a Leviathan Pattern Siege Dreadnought. He's armed with a Cyclone Melter Lance, an Armoured Ceramite, and has Flamers in his chest.
Gents, we're deployed and ready to go, aren't we?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Now, Jamie, you've split your 1,000 Suns in half, haven't you?
Yeah. See how it goes. It might be a bad idea, but hopefully the dice will be in the favour.
Good stuff. All right. Lyde and Jamie, let's have a friendly handshake, please.
As always.
Good luck,
Good
gents.
luck, man.
And Jamie, you're going first at the moment.
Yeah, I am indeed.
I'm going to try and seize the initiative.
Good
and
stuff.
I need a 6.
Oh,
well. 1,000 Suns turn 1.
1,000 Suns, here we go.
1,000 Suns turn 1. For the movement for the force, I decided just to move everything up to try and get a better chance at stopping the invading custodians in the centre. In the psychic phase, I decided not to cast any spells because anything I cast at this point is pretty much useless. And also, I don't want to risk the chance of getting the perils this early in the game. In the shooting phase, I decided to move the Leviathan up and the Tartarus squad. For the run roll, I got 6 on both of them, so they're moving up quickly into the centre to stop the invaders.
Custodes turn 1 was a very simple movement phase. I've just advanced 6 inches up to the door, and the Aquilon Terminators have took 6 shots at the door. No gets hot, and no need to re-roll twin linked. That's the dice rolls. So each one of these has armor bane, so it'll be 2d6, needing 8 on 2d6. First one, 8. Glance. Whole point, door's gone. Door's gone. Great news, super simple, effective turn 1 for the Custodes. I've taken out the door, which is a really early game crucial advantage for the Custodes. As you can see, the Leviathan, on the next turn, if he chooses to advance, opens himself up to shots on my following turn from the Adrathic Destructors. Or if he stays there, he's blocking the Terminators behind him, and it leaves the other doorway to the room in front free for shooting. So pretty good turn, simple but effective for the Custodians.
1,000 Suns turn 2. At the movement phase, I decided just to move up an extra 6 inch, trying to get ready to focus onto the Custodians coming through that breach, hopefully this turn. In the psychic phase, I decided to cast Prescience from the sorcerer onto the levy, which you got it, which allows him to rerolls to hit in both shooting and in close combat.
The Custodians chose not to deny the witch on that spell.
Apart from that, just going to brace for the impact of the Custodians coming from the next turn. So no charges this turn.
Custodian turn 2, seeing the advance of the Aquilon Terminators into the bottleneck of the room. The plan here is they're going to hopefully get some good hits on the Dreadnought, possibly kill it, if not at least try and take some hull points off it before charging it. The Dreadnought really needs to go because I think it's one of them models, especially in the 1,000 Suns Force, that can really cause the Terminators a lot of pain back, especially with that claw with Sever and Cut. And the Terminators are a really vital unit for the Custodian, so that needs to die quick and they need to do it. Other than that, just movement up the rest of the column of the board for the Custodians. I need to try and break them out of that hallway and hopefully get them fighting some 1,000 Suns soon. Custodian shooting, turn 2, is 3 Adrathic Destructors. These are twin linked with Gets Hot, BS5 hitting on 2s. All hits. So these also have armor bane, so strength 5, 2d6, armor 13, looking for 8s. First one is a miss. Second one is a glance. And the third one is nothing. 1 glance. 1 invulnerable.
1 4-up invuln for the levy.
Gets it.
Gets it.
No effective shooting from the Custodians this turn. Charging. Custodian turn 2, charging. The Leviathan made reaction fire shots with the Cyclonic Melter Lance and the Melter Lance from the Claw, plus 2 successful hits with the Flamer. So, what do I need to save, Jamie?
You've got 3 invulnerables.
Yeah, 3 invulnerables of 4 up.
2 armors. Would you please take the invulnerables?
Invulnerables first. So these are 3 4-up invulnerables for the Terminators. It will not instant kill them because they are toughness 5. So 2 successes, 1 loses a wound.
Then 2 armor saves, please.
2 standard 2-up armor saves from the Flamers. Successful. So one wound lost from the Terminators. And then I'm going to now charge They are most definitely in. The Terminators are in. Custodian turn 2 made it into the charge. The Hammer of Wrath attacks are null and void against the Dreadnought's armour. The Praetor Tribune Shield Captain will go first with his attacks on the charge. 5 attacks base, +1 for the charge, and digital lasers, Paragon Blade. Hitting on 2s, 3s, sorry. 4 hit, looking for 6s to glance. 1 glance. 1 4-up invulnerable save, Jerry. Made it, lovely. Next is the Leviathan.
Leviathan comes in with 4 attacks. He'll be hitting on 4s. Hits with 2. Gets a reroll because of prescience.
Lovely.
2. It's strength 10, AP 2, looking for 2s. So that's 2 AP 2 hits.
This will be 2 AP 2 hits. One of the Terminators is already wounded from the previous round, so it'll be the first one he goes. So first 4 up. 1 dead Terminator. Second one. 1 fine Terminator. 1 Terminator dead. Unfortunate, that's not good. The Leviathan had its chance to take down the Custodians, and it did take down 1 valiant Custodian, but now it's time to punch back. First Terminator, 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, with rerolls for Mastercrafted. 1 reroll, 4 hits. Second Terminator, 4 hits, 1 reroll Mastercrafted. 1 missed, 1 reroll, 3. And then last Terminator, same again. That one hits, so that one's gone, and then a reroll. So lovely. That is 6. That is 10 in total. 10 hits. So there's a strength 10, AP 1 against armor 13. 3 ups. 1, 2, 3 pens, 3 glances, 4 misses.
What would you like me to take first?
Can you take the 3 glances first, please?
3 glances, looking for 4 ups. So
Lovely,
3 glances
yes.
go through,
Yes,
and
yes.
then
3
the
pens.
3 pens. Save
Ah!
the
no
Levy's
way.
still alive. With 1
I'll get
hull point
you.
left.
I'll get you. All in all, that wasn't a bad charge for the Custodians. I'm disappointed that the Dreadnought didn't die, but ultimately it's still in combat, so it can't mow through the rest of my force. I'm at risk of a charge from the rear with the Sekhmet, but also he's at risk of a counter charge from the Dreadnought and the Custodians in the corridor. So all in all, I actually think that's pretty good. I would have liked to have killed the Leviathan, but it did take a bit of a beating, so pretty happy for that end of turn.
Thousand Suns turn 3. For the moment, I just moved up the Cataphractory squad, get ready for an optimal charge. The veteran tactical squad also moved up in tow. When it comes to the psychic phase, I was able to cast Prescience from the sorcerer onto the Leviathan. He's now rerolling hits on the chart. The veteran tactical squad also cast Prescience onto the Cataphractory squad, which went off as well. And also the Praetor, he cast Endurance on the squad, which gives the whole squad Eternal Warrior and a 4-up Feel No Pain. Also, I was able to cast off Force on the Cataphractory squad, and now they're ready for the charge. Thousand Suns turn 3 charge phase. The Cataphractory squad got a successful charge off at the Terminator squad. When they got into combat, the Praetor declared a challenge, which was accepted by the Tribune. But unfortunately, I'm at initiative 5 and the Tribune's at initiative 6, so you'll get to attack first.
Yeah, the Tribune's got 5 attacks +1 for digital lasers, and his weapon skill 6 against weapon skill 6 are hitting on 4s. 2 successes. This is strength 5, strength 6 because of the +1 Paragon Blade.
That's 4. So 2s.
2.
So that's 2 successes. AP2 with these.
Yeah.
So because I cast off Endurance, I get first 3-up Invuln, which would pass with both anyway. Now the Tribune comes in with his attacks. He gets 4 attacks as standard, +1 for digital lasers and +1 for charging. So we're looking at 4s to hit. Gets a reroll because of prescience.
Good job, really.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit better. 3. Looking at strength 5 against his toughness 5, so 4s. So that is 2 AP2 wounds, but no instant death.
It's a 3-up invulnerable for the shield captain. Success. Hey. Lovely stuff.
Next up is the Leviathan, initiative 4. He's needing force to hit, but with prescience gets the reroll, which is really awesome.
Doesn't need it.
Now, because I'm strength 10, I need 2s to wound. So that's 3 wounds, which will be doubling them out. So that's 3 invulnerable saves, please.
Yeah, no worries. I'll just do them one at a time for dramatics. First one
Is it dead?
is a dead Terminator.
Ooh.
Second one is a
Ooh.
dead Terminator. Dead
Oh
Terminator.
my god.
Jeez.
3 Terminators.
Ah,
Levy rules.
No weight over half a squad.
Next up, at Initiative 1, the Sekhmet squad are going to use their force axes against the Custodian Terminator, looking at force to hit, but we Prescients get to re-roll, which is a bit better. Sorry.
It's loads better.
These are at strength 5, so I need force to wound. That is 2 wounds, but these are forces enabled, so they do score instant death at AP2.
It's my invulnerable saves, yeah?
Yep.
So, first one
Which is a
is a
fail.
wound.
So he's
So
dead.
he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terminator's dead.
Fantastic news, the Sekhmet were able to use their force axes to remove another Custodian Terminator. It did cause 2 wounds, but unfortunately the other Terminator was too far out of the combat, so the wounds do not overspill. So now it is the combat with the Terminator against the Leviathan.
Fortunately, the last Custodian is in combat with the Leviathan and did not get killed, so he has 3 attacks against the Leviathan, and this really needs to go. I cannot let this walk through the rest of my army. It needs to die now. So I'm hitting on 3s.
2
To
hits.
re-roll because it's mastercrafted. 3 hits. 3s for the glance because it's strength 10. Pen glance.
Which one would you like me to take
I want you
first?
to take the pen first because you've saved
So-
it last time.
4 up.
Yes!
No.
Dead!
That's a dead Leviathan.
Dead. So,
Does it
so
explode?
it's strength 10 AP 1. This is what happens.
Plus
Immobilized.
2.
+2. Boom.
Yeah, it's explode.
Boom.
So
And
what is the range?
5
5
inches.
inches. After working out the explosion result for the Leviathan, unfortunately there was no wounds dealt on the Sekhmet, the Terminator, or the Tribune. But fantastic news, the Thousand Sons won the combat by 8. But unfortunately the Tribune doesn't have any form of stubborn or fearless, so he will have to take a leadership check on double 1.
This might potentially be okay for me because within Zone Mortalis rules I can't run backwards towards my infantry because it's blocked by his Sekhmet. So I would have to run towards the objectives, providing I actually managed to get in there, which would still work well for me. So, leadership test.
Double 1.
Double 1.
That's the worst
That's
one.
the worst result I could have ever hoped for on
Yeah.
6s as well.
Unfortunately, I am in Cataracted Terminator armor, so I can't make a sweep in advance.
Yeah.
Need to roll to run away.
I need to roll to run away. I'm going to use these dice again. Yeah, so it's just 2d6, isn't it? Two sides of a coin, man. 2 sides of a coin.
I mean, wow,
Oh.
that's fantastic news because I'm now closer to him, and it's not so close to the objective as thought. Sorry, man.
Custodian turn 3. The Shield Captain and Equivalent Terminator pass some leadership test and have moved the 3 inches towards the objectives. The rest of the Custodian force have ploughed down the corridor, hopefully going to get some counter charges in with the Custodians and possibly even the Dreadnought if I'm lucky, but probably just the Custodians. Plan of attack for this turn, hopefully, is maybe get a lucky shot from the Adrathic Destructor on the Equivalent Terminator onto at least one of the objectives so I can start making some points on the board. Having all of them Terminators die to the Leviathan and the Sekhmet really, really, really hurt the force. So I want to try and redeem some points back now. Custodian shooting phase to try and put some points on the board. The Terminator and Shield Captain are going to take shots at one of the objectives that they have line of sight on. Because they passed their leadership and moved the 3 inches, they are firing snaps. So the Adrathic Destructor is going to go first with 1 shot, twin linked, looking for 6s. Twin linked, second shot, missed. And the Shield Captain has a bolter at strength 5 with 2 shots, so again looking for 6s. Nothing. Disappointing, really. The Custodian shooting phase was a manic rattle of bolt of fire down the corridors from the Guardian Spears. Dust and debris flying everywhere. They couldn't see the targets, and every single shot missed. And well, not every single shot. The ones that did hit, he saved. The Terminators and the Tribune Shield Captain, they miss their snaps on the objectives. So really, really poor shooting phase from the Custodians. My next hope is for a good charge phase and to get some wounds on that Cataphracti squad. Custodian turn 3 charge phase. The squad at the front has made a successful charge into the Cataphracti. The Cataphracti cannot overwatch because they're in Cataphracti armour. The Custodians, like I say, made a successful charge and they're hitting on 3s followed by 2s on the charge. Any 6s to hit generate an extra attack as well because of lightning blow. So that is 1 extra hit, which I will reroll to see if it hits. So yep. These are followed up by 2s, which they're all successful. That's really, really good.
8.
Yeah, so that's strength 6 AP2, please, Jamie. Invulnerable saves. You do have Eternal Warrior, don't you?
Yes. So I'll roll these 2 at a time because I've got 2 wounds apiece. A peach. So the first one, looking at 3 up invuln followed by a 4 up feel no pain. So 3 up invuln, 4 up feel no pain. Passes it. Next one's passed it.
Passed it.
Next one's passed it.
So
and
hard.
The next one's 4 up invuln. Sorry, feel no pain.
Passed it. Loving it. Custodians do nothing to that unit.
Coming in now is the Praetor, initiative 5. He's got 4 attacks as standard, +1 for digital lasers. He's needing 3s to hit. The prescience is still in play. Let's get a reroll. And he needs strength 5, toughness 5, so 4s to wound, but any 6s cause instant death.
Wait.
So that is 1 wound at AP2.
1 wound, so this is 1 invulnerable save, which they do not make.
Which is just a wound.
Just a wound, so the captain at the front is wounded.
Now the attacks for the Sekhmet come in, looking for 4s to hit, with rerolls because of prescience.
Good job.
That's a lot better. These are strength 5 against toughness 5, so 4s, but these do cause instant death. So that is 3 instant deaths, please, at AP2.
So 3 invulnerables, starting with the first one, because he's already wounded. He's dead. Second one, he's fine. Third one, he's also fine. So 1 model down. Custodians lost by 2 in that combat, so I need to get a 7 or under on my leadership, because the leadership was 9. And they pass. They pass with a 7, so they're still in combat.
Thousand Suns turn 4. Movement. Move the Sekhmet Tartar squad up to try and catch off the tribunary squad, but unfortunately can't see them. The veteran attacks also moved up. Went straight into the psychic phase. I tried to cast Endurance from the Praetor onto the Sekhmet Cataphracti squad. Was unable to cast it. I also tried to cast Force on the squad and also was unable to cast it. But the sorcerer from the Tartar squad was able to cast Prescience onto my Cataphracti squad, so they get to reroll hits in combat. There is no line of sight to any targets in the shooting phase. We're going to go straight into the combat with my Praetor, who will be attacking the Custodians in front of him. He has 4 attacks as standard, +1 for digital lasers. He's weapon skill 6 against the weapon skill 5, so looking for 3s. And because of Prescience, he gets to reroll. So that's 4 hits. He's currently at strength 5 against their toughness 5, so looking for 4s to wound, but any 6s cause instant death. That is currently just 1 AP2 wound.
This is 1 5 up and vulnerable save, which he does not make. Loons a wound.
Thousand Suns turn 4. For the movement phase, I just move the Tartarus Sekhmet squad up to try and get off to get to the Tribune to stop them taking the objective. I also moved up the veteran tactical squad to try and get a fire arc, but unfortunately still can't see anybody. Went straight into the psychic phase. I tried to cast Endurance onto the Cataphracti Sekhmet squad, but unfortunately wasn't able to cast it. I also tried to cast Force on them, but also was unable to cast it. But my sorcerer from the Tartar squad was able to cast Prescience onto my Cataphracti squad, so they're allowed to reroll to hits in combat. We'll now go straight into the combat phase. The Praetor is going to attack the Custodians in base contact with him, looking for 3s to hit with his 5 attacks. Prescience allowed to reroll.
Or hit.
Strength 5, toughness 5, looking for 4s to wound, but any 6s are instant death. So currently that is 3 wounds at AP2.
So I need to save 3 invulnerable saves of 5+. First one is a miss. Second one is dead Custodian. Third one is a fail. Lost a wound. The Custodians get their 2 attacks back, losing the guy in combat. 2 attacks. 2 hits. Strength 5 against toughness 4, 3s.
So it's 2 wounds on the Sekhmet squad. So 2 up armors.
2 saves.
Sekhmet are fine. And then come back in with the 3 Sekhmet in base contact to be able to attack. Look, 6 attacks. Looking at force to hit with rerolls because of prescience. And then strength 5 against toughness 5, it's force. Whew, that is 3 AP 2 hits,
So I need
please.
to make 3 more invulnerable saves. I'll just roll them all together.
Yeah.
5 ups. Dead
Yeah.
Custodian. Squad wiped.
Consolidation for the Sekhmet squad. 3-inch consolidation. End of the Thousand Suns turn 4. I consolidated the Cataphracti squad into the bottleneck to try and stop the Custodians advancing through to get more objectives. Plan from now is just to get the Sekhmet and the veteran tax round to stop the Custodians taking any more objectives from the Tribune.
Custodian turn 4. The movement phase was very simple. The Dreadnought stayed put. He's going to initiate a charge in the assault phase. The Aquilin Terminator and the Shield Captain moved up onto the objectives. They're going to try and shoot them and kill them. If failing that, they're going to assault and try and charge them. I need to claw some points onto the board, and them 2 objectives are really the only thing that I can go for now to try and claw back a little bit of a win, or at least hope for a draw. It's crucial the Dreadnought gets into combat and at least stays out for a few turns with Rampage and tries to claw back some kills from that squad and hopefully get that squad killed. So that's all the Custodians can do now. Turn 4 shooting, starting with the Shield Captain and the Aquilin Terminator. They both hit with the Adrathic Destructor and the Bolter from the Paragon Blade. The Adrathic Destructor made 2 penetrating hits with the Armor Bane, but Jamie saved it on a 4+ invulnerable, and the Tribune needed 6s to glance, but rolled 2 5s, so no glances on the shooting. The shooting will now continue over with the Dreadnought and the Custodians before any assault phase. The Galadas fired its heavy flamer from the sword, hitting all 6 and wounding all 6. Jamie now needs to take his armor saves.
So I'll roll them 2 at a time because I've got 2 wounds apiece. So the first 2 ups, fine. Second 2 takes a wound, and the last 2
Fine.
So 1 wound on a Sekhmet.
The remaining 2 units of Custodian Guard fired all of their bolts from the Guardian Spear into the Terminators, killing the Terminator that had a wound from the Flamer previously. So that makes it a lot easier for me now, being a Terminator down, receiving attacks back with the Dreadnought, hopefully getting the charge in now. So that's where I'm at with shooting. End of shooting phase, on to charge. Turn 4 assault phase, I made 3 successful charges with the Shield Captain into the console, the Aquilin Terminator into the other console, the Dreadnought into the Cataphracti Terminators. I've already rolled the impact hit. It was a successful hit, but also a successful save from the Cataphracti. So we're now going into the attacks from the Dreadnought first. He has 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. All hit. These are Strength 10, AP 2, looking for 2s. These will W out. So that is 5 successful wounds.
Right. I'll do these one at a time. So the Sekhmet's standing in front of him. 3 up invuln. Passes it. Passes it. Passes it. Dies, and the next one, for the last one, passes it. So 1 Sekhmet dies.
Quick roll check, and the Dreadnought has shred with the blade, so I will reroll one of the failed wounds.
So 1 more.
1 more.
Invulnerable.
And
Another
failed.
Sekhmet dies.
Lovely. Perfect.
The Sekhmet with the Power Fist is going to attack back. He'll hit on 4s, but unfortunately he does have the shield, which imposes a -1 to hit, so I'm hitting on 5s. But I do get to reroll because of prescience. Unfortunately, no hits.
Perfect.
I do lose combat by 4, but I do have fearless, so the combat carries on.
Great news for the Custodians. 2 of the 4 consoles are destroyed with the combat phase. Both the Shield Captain and the Aquilin Terminator punched and slashed and hacked the consoles to death, so I have 2 victory points from that. The Dreadnought was also really successful in the previous combat, having saved any sort of damage back from the Traitor and the remaining Cataphracti Terminators. So really, really good all round. It's still positive for the Custodes, and I think I can claw it back at least. So positive.
Turn 5 for the Thousand Suns. The Tartarus squad with the sorcerer moved around the corner to try and go after the tribune and the lone terminator. The veterans also moved up to try and get some shots off at the custodians lurking behind the contemptor. Moving into the psychic phase, the sorcerer cast prescience and forewarning. The prescience on his own squad and the forewarning on the veteran attacks to give him a 4-up invuln. The Praetor of the Force also cast endurance on his squad, so now Eternal Warrior and a 4-up feel no pain. And also the Tartarus squad cast force on themselves, so they now cause instant death on their power axes. Turn 5 shooting phase for the Thousand Suns. The veteran marksman fired off their asphyx shells with the marksman roll at the custodian squad, able to kill out one custodian. It was 33% of the squad, so you had to roll for panic. It was able to pass it, so they're not running away today. The Tartarus squad also run 3 inches up to try and block the exit for the tribune and the terminator. Going into turn 5 combat with the contemptor. Turn 5 combat for the Thousand Suns. The contemptor is now going to attack the Sekhmet squad.
He has 5 attacks, looking for 3s to hit. That is 3 hits. He's strength 10, AP 1, so 2s.
That is 1 wound.
Shred gets to reroll.
That's
2.
2 wounds. Because I have endurance on the squad, he can't cancel me out, so I'll take 2 rolls on the Sekhmet next to the Praetor. So this is 3 ups. And passes them
Saved
both.
him.
And then come in with the Sekhmet with the Power Fist. He's looking at 5s to hit. But he does have prescience on, so he gets a reroll. Just 1 hit. It is strength 8 against his front armor of 13. So it is 1 dice needing 5s for a glance.
Does
That's
not
nothing.
glance.
So that is another drawn combat.
Custodian turn 5 movement. The custodians at the back have moved up to try and get a charge on the terminators that are in combat with the dreadnought. And the shield captain and terminator have regrouped and moved towards the corridor bottleneck, hoping to get some shots in and then hopefully to charge the Tartarus terminators. Shooting phase for the custodians. The Adrathic Destructor shot hit the Tartarus unit, but Jamie passed the invulnerable save. The shield captain also shot, but was unsuccessful against the terminators. The 3 custodian squad at the back fired into the veteran tactical squads, hit, but Jamie saved the armor saves. So shooting done, onto combat. Custodian turn 5 assault phase. The shield captain has issued a challenge, and the Thousand Suns have accepted with the Tartarus sergeant. The shield captain's going to go first. He's hitting on 3s. Oh, not good. Followed by 2s. Any 6s are instant death because of Paragon. Oh, he gets to reroll because of digital cyber familiar.
Yeah.
On the hits, sorry. So then, 3 invulnerable saves, please, Jamie.
Right, so warriors one at a time. So because the Tartarus, they've got the Cult Raptora, they've got a 4-up invuln. So the first one, he takes a wound. It's fine. And he takes another wound, so the sergeant is dead.
Sergeant is dead. The Aquilon Terminator hit with his Hammer of Wrath, but it was saved by the Terminators. So he's now going in with 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. Gets to re-roll any that have failed because they're mastercrafted, but none of them have. So these are Strength 10, AP 1, looking for 2s. 2, Jamie, 2 invulnerables.
Yep. So the first Tartarus Marine in front of him has a 4-up, which he fails, so he's dead. And then the second one passes, so he's fine. The Tartarus Marines are now attack back at the squad, needing 4s to hit. Reroll because of prescience.
So 4.
Strength 5 against toughness 5.
So 4 ups.
So 4s, but I do have force in play. So that is 3 instant death AP2, please.
So I get my 4-up invulnerable saves.
Yeah.
So I'll
Might
roll
wanna
them
them
one at a time first.
So Terminator's dead.
Terminator's dead, and then this is on to the Praetor. He has a 3-up invulnerable, so pass and pass. The Praetor is fine, but the Terminator is dead.
Unfortunately, I did lose the combat by 2, but the Sekhmet do have the stubborn special rule with the Librarian Leadership 9, so I'll now roll a leadership check on a 9. They pass, so they're staying in the combat. Fantastic news.
The Dreadnought's now going to make his attacks on the Cataphractic Terminators. He rolled 1 for his Rampage with his 4 attacks, or 5 attacks. Hitting on 3s. Ooh. 2, followed by 2s with Shred. Both hits. 2 invulnerables, please, Jamie.
Right, so the Sekhmet up front, he's going to have a 3-up invuln.
He
It
fails.
does have a 4-up feel no pain. He fails, he takes a wound. And then the next wound takes a wound, but the 4-up feel no pain.
Oh, yes.
So another Sekhmet is dead.
So Sekhmet dead. Perfect. Next initiative step is my Custodians. They have 2 attacks each, plus 1 for the charge. So they have 3 attacks. Any 6s generated are extra attacks, hitting on 3s. No extra 6s. So 4 hits. These are strength 6 against toughness 4. So looking for 2s. So all 4 hit.
Right, so take these.
These will be invulnerable saves.
Yes, so
AP2.
3 up.
Nope.
4 up. 4 up. Love it.
Passed.
Next is the Praetor in my squad. He's going to attack against the Custodians, needing, weapon skill 5?
Weapon skill 5.
Yep, so freeze, prescience, reroll. Currently at strength 5.
Toughness
strength
5.
So 4s. Any 6s are instant death. But that is
2
AP2 hits.
2 5-up invulnerables going 1 at a time on the first Custodian. He is dead because it's Paragon.
No, it's just the one
so
wound.
he's 1 wound, followed by he's fine.
So just
1 wound lost.
Next up is the Sekhmet with the Power Fist. He's going to attack against the Glatis, needing 4 hit as standard, but 5 because of the shield. But because of prescience, it can re-roll.
Good job.
Ooh,
Negative.
that is still nothing.
Perfect. This is great. It's just what the Dreadnought needs.
Unfortunately, I did lose the combat by 1, but I am fearless because I'm a warlord, so the fight carries on.
End of Custodian turn 5. Looking for turn 6. If I get turn 6, I think I can draw by killing the Warlord with the Dreadnought and potentially the Custodians. So really, I need this turn 6 on a 3-up dice roll. We're going to turn 6.
Thousand Suns turn 6.
Thousand Suns turn 6.
Turn 6 for the Thousand Suns. The veteran tactical squad has moved up into the centre corridor. They're going to be aiming their shots down at the Custodian squad behind the combat that's taking place. Then into the psychic phase. The Praetor cast Endurance on himself, so they have Eternal Warrior and the 4 feel no pain. The Sorcerer cast Forewarning and Prescience. He casts Prescience on his own squad and the Forewarning on the veteran tactical squad. And then the veteran tactical squad casts Prescience onto the Praetor squad. So both Sekhmet squads have got Prescience. Also, the Tartarus squad cast Force on themselves and they will cause instant death. Turn 6 for the Thousand Suns. The veteran tactical squad fired their asphyx shells from the bolters into the Custodian squad behind the combat. Managed to get quite a lot of hits and managed to cause 4 rending wounds and 4 normal wounds. Would you take the normal armor saves first?
Normal armor
please?
saves first, so I'll just roll these all together, looking for 2 pluses.
That's fine.
And then, do you want me to roll them individually for Rendon?
You just roll them as
Roll them all
normal.
together. So looking for 5 up invulnerables.
Yeah. Ooh, so
That
that's
is
1 wound.
1 wound. I'll take that.
I'm happy with that. At least it's another wound on a Dirty Custodian. Thousand Suns turn 6 combat. The Tribune has issued a challenge and have accepted with my Librarian, but because of his high initiative, he's going to attack first.
The Shield Captain's going to be attacking with 6 dice, hitting on 3s. 4 hits. This is Strength 6, AP2, sorry, with Paragon.
2s.
6 is an instant.
Yep.
Paragon.
Cool. So, what would you like me to take first?
Can you take the 2 normal saves first?
So, these
please?
are AP2.
AP2 as well, yeah.
So, 5 up Refractor Field. Takes a wound. Then he's instant death. Yeah, he's dead. Continuing the combat, the Sekhmet with the Force Axes are going to attack the Tribune, sorry. They're needing Force to hit. Prescience allowed to re-roll. So 3 hits. These are Strength 5 against Toughness 5. So 4s. That is 1 instant death hit at AP2.
1 3 up invulnerable save.
He's dead. That's
Does he get to reroll it because of Iron Halo?
No.
No.
So that is a dead warlord. So fantastic news. I've got Slayer the Warlord. Awesome. Now get to consolidate. 5 inches. Continuing with the Thousand Suns combat, we're now going to head with the Galatus, who's attacking first.
Yeah, he doesn't get rampage because he's not outnumbered anymore, or he doesn't outnumber rather. So 4 attacks, hitting on 3s.
Wow.
3 hits, strength 10 AP 1, 2 pluses with shred. So shred gets to reroll. 3 AP 2, AP 1 hits.
I'll go against the Power Fist dude. Gets a 3 up.
Pass.
Loves it. Then go with my Praetor. He's going to attack the Custodians. He has 4 attacks as standard, plus 1 for digital lasers. Needs 4s to hit. Sorry, 3s to hit. With prescience. So that's the one. So all hit. He has strength 5 and toughness 5, so needing 4s. Any 6s are instant death. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's 5 instant death hits.
Yeah. Would you mind rolling 5 instant death
Not
wounds,
at all. I'll do
please?
them individually, shall I, for drama?
Ah,
The first
jeez.
one, looking for 5 up and vulnerable. Makes it.
Whoa.
Second one,
So
he's
that's one
dead.
dead.
Then on to the second guy, 5 up. He's
Oh,
dead. Dead custodian
Oh my
squad.
god. Continuing the combat, the segment with the Power Fist is going to attack the Goliaths. Needing 5s to hit. It doesn't hit with
Prescience.
prescience, reroll,
Lovely.
nothing. So I mean, wow, what a combat! That was incredible. So I believe Leiden loses his combat, but his Galactus is a walker, so the combat carries on. I mean, wow, what a combat!
I'd say end of turn 6.
Yeah.
Turn 6 custodian movement. There was no real movement per se. The custodian guard stood back and shot at the veteran tactical squad, taking down a marine. The dreadnought is staying in combat, hopefully going to take down the remaining terminators this turn. He has 4 attacks base and he's going to roll for his rampage. He gets 2, so it's an extra attack. So 5 attacks, hitting on 3s. 3 hit, strength 10 AP 1 with shred. Looking for 2 ups. Gets it. 3 invulnerable save, please, Jamie.
3 up on the segment with the Power Fist. 4 up, feel no pain.
Absolutely
Fine.
loves it. No wounds at all.
The Praetor can't hurt the Galatus, so the segment with the Power Fist is going to come in. He needs 5s to hit. Hits.
Hits.
Strength 8 for armour.
13.
So I need 5s for glance, 6s for pen. So 1
A
glance.
glance, and then I'll get my 5 up refractor field.
Yeah, but you get to reroll
I
because
get to
of your
rear up
shield.
because I'm a shield, and he
So that's
fails.
1 glance.
So it takes a whole point. It's down a whole point.
Yeah.
So to wrap up the end of turn 6, the dreadnought took a whole point. I dealt a wound to the veteran tactical squad. It is the end of the turn, so to proceed to turn 7, I need a 4. I'll try and roll that now. I get a 4. We're under turn 7.
Thousand Suns turn 7. For the movement phase, I didn't move anything. The reason I didn't move anything, so the marksmen, because of their cult covenant, if they stand still, get to reroll once for shooting. In the psychic phase, I tried to cast off a couple of spells, but was only able to get 4 warning onto the marksman vets and prescience onto the Praetor squad. Then in the shooting phase, I fired the veteran marksman, and I was able to do 5 wounds to the squad, which left 1 custodian left with 1 wound. I then fired the Tartarus Sekhmet. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get another wound in him, so he is left with 1 wound. Now going into the combat phase with the Galatus.
Yeah, so the Galatus rolled a 5 with rampage, so it's D3 extra. So 3 extra attacks plus his 4 base, so 7. Hitting on 3s. Not that bad. These are strength 10 AP 1 with shred, which is good. So that is 5 invulnerables, please, Jamie.
Right, I've taken these one at a time because I've not got Eternal Warrior. So for the Sekhmet of the squad, 5. Wrong dice. So the Sekhmet is dead. Unfortunately, I can't wound him with my Praetor, so that is a drawn combat.
Strong combat.
With fearless.
Handbags. Custodians turn 7. It is the absolute last turn of the game, and the Custodians are not leaving this catacomb alive. They will take any and every Thousand Sun with them. The lone Custodian made a valiant charge into the veteran tactical squads, but they got reaction fire and have fired a heck of a lot of shots at the Custodian. He needs to take 7 armor saves and 2 invulnerable saves. So I'll roll the armor invulnerable saves first.
So 2 5-ups.
2 5-ups.
He's got 1 wound left.
He's already received a wound. He's dead. So that Custodian has fell valiantly. Now it's the Contemptor and the Praetor.
Unfortunately, I can't hurt you in combat, so it's all down to your Contemptor.
The Contemptor got...
You're not getting rampage.
I'm not getting rampage, so he has just his 4 attacks. He hits with 3, looking for 2s with Shred. Oh.
Now, this is a very crucial roll for me, because if I fail one of these, then instant death is applied and I lose my Warlord. So,
What's your save?
save of a 3-up with the invulnerable with Cult Raptora. So
He's dead. I have killed the Warlord.
You
Successful
slayed my
Dreadnought.
Warlord. And because both my HQs are dead, it now imposes a -1 leadership to my entire force because of Thousand Sun shenanigans.
But that's it. End of game.
That's the end of game.
We're back, and Jamie the Butcher has returned to our midst. Jamie, I'm going to say it again for the second time on the channel. You are a butcher, and you did short work of those Custodes, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think secretly, I hate to say this in front of
No,
Leiden.
it's fine.
Secretly, I wanted the Thousand Suns to win, and I'll give you my reason why. It was because Custodes have had so much bad press on the channel and in general.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, they're unbeatable, and we have to mitigate points, and I'm glad we didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm also secretly glad that the Thousand Suns. But I also think the Thousand Suns are a little bit full of themselves anyway. So I think in actual fact it was quite a reasonable matchup.
Yeah. I think out of all the legions, I think the Thousand Suns have probably the better chance against the Custodes at the moment. Just with the extra phase and some of the stuff you can do, it can really buff them up. And as you can see from the game, like even just a simple spell of endurance, that just completely stops their Custodians with an instant death weaponry as such. And like you say, the combat with that dread lasted near enough the full game.
Yeah.
7 turns.
Yeah.
7 turns, 1 whole point.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
She does good.
Yeah.
Just moving quickly on to the rich points, I've got a little thing. So don't forget we played a sabotage mission. The 2 objectives, which were in the larger rooms, which unfortunately Leiden didn't get an opportunity to get to, they were worth 2 points. They were worth 2 points because if you made the extra effort, you got rewarded a bit more. So unfortunately, the Custodes didn't get that far, but they got 2 objectives which were closer.
Yeah.
You got Warlord eventually on the last turn, which was fantastic.
With the Dreadnought.
Oh yeah. And you got First Blood, didn't you?
I did.
So you scored 4 by my reckoning. Yeah, 4. And Jamie, you got obviously 2, 4 2 each for the 2 that were protected, and you also scored Warlord yourself. So you actually won by 1 victory point.
Yeah. Clutch.
Yeah, it's
so clutch.
It's like the last game. A really great game. I've got a lot to say about this game because I was watching the whole thing. There is no doubt that the Thousand Suns probably did far better than they should have done because of those, because of the endurance. And we know that when you rolled badly in your psychic phase, Leiden has opportunity. But you only had 2 chances really in the whole game.
Realistically, because you just kept getting endurance. There was nothing. The only point where I got in a big chance to get it was when you perils.
Yeah.
But even then, because you had
the one use arcane litanies, you just cancel out it. So it's useful, but like you say, I've had days where I've rolled nothing but perils of the warps, but then I've had days where I just haven't done one. It's just one of them. It's a dice game. See what happens.
And then you also have days where you roll 5 6s.
Yeah, that happens.
I nearly died when that happened. I think if you watch it back when it happened, I think you could see the camera shaking because I was laughing so hard and I was trying to hold it back. But
it's like, that's 5 instant.
I've never looked at the ceiling so much as I have this game. Just every time I roll a 6, I'm like, God, no. Just what's going on? But really, I mean, solid dice rolls from Jamie. I can't knock him there at all. I still think I did right in what I did in hindsight, being a beautiful thing as it is.
Yeah.
Because I thought if I had assaulted the door instead of the Leviathan, I would have taken the door out, but I wouldn't have been able to consolidate because it's a stationary sort of vehicle. So I then would have been open to the Leviathan from that side and still open to the Cataphractii from the other side. So I think I still did the right thing. The dice didn't fall in my favour against the Leviathan.
Yeah, I just thought it was really unfortunate. It had all those strength 10 Solarite gauntlets.
But only half that unit was in initially. So
yeah, no, that's true. And Jamie did make some wickedly good saves.
Yeah.
3 failed glance saves and then all save penetration.
Just penetrate. Yeah, no, but what
So good.
So good.
I think once again, thank you, Stephen Pardo, for making fantastic dice, as always.
I think Stephen sold himself to the devil to make those when he produced those dice. They do roll extremely well.
But to touch upon what you said about with the matchup between the Custodes being, should we say, OP?
Yeah, they are.
A lot of people.
They are a little bit.
A lot of people use that terminology. So I don't think they are. I think they're incredibly hard for what they are.
Okay.
But you pay a lot of points when you consider what my Terminator is for one guy compared to what you have there with all your buffs.
Yeah.
They're almost untouchable if you get the right spells, and you can nullify my advantage with the Adrathic Destructive with instant death. So you really do take my advantage away from that.
If you don't mind me saying, the counter to that argument, I think, is also as well armies that have huge high rates of firepower. You're then just getting through. You're holding up for those 1s and those 2s, aren't you? Yeah. But I appreciate the Custodes. It was an elite force. They hadn't had that massed firepower, have they? No. And they just struggled to hit that buffed unit of Sekhmet.
Yeah. Which, like you say, if you get the right spells off, then you can potentially sit there for the entire game. I mean, we've done loads of test games before we came to this game. I've had ones where they've lasted the full game, not lost anything, but I've had games where they just got one-shotted by the Terminator squad. Yeah. It's just one of them. If the dice rolls in your favour and you've got the right powers, you can be there forever or not that long.
And if anyone is looking at the board and thinking, well, the Custodes were at a disadvantage because of the narrow corridor, I would like to hold my hand up and say that was my actual input. I thought it would make a good narrative, being a corridor just snuck in. And I think maybe placing the Dreadnought at the front would have been better for me.
Yeah, it was a tricky one, isn't it? Because deployment plays such a massive part. And we talk about battlefields almost like the third army on the battlefield. And for me, the battlefield is so important, particularly for the channel. But I do agree with you. I thought the corridor was the perfect deployment because we were trying to tell a story, and we wanted the Custodes to struggle because it was Thousand Suns home turf, and we wanted the Thousand Suns to make that beachhead and get in there. I do think maybe the organised the
placement of my units within that deployment zone was a bit.
But Jamie rolled 2 6s. He rolled for his run moves for your Leviathan and your Sekhmet. No, was it Sekhmet? Yeah.
The Tartarus.
You rolled 2 6s.
Yeah.
So it was like, your run move.
So they moved the 6 anyway, and then they just ran an extra 6. So already that Leviathan was creeping around the corner.
Yeah, like turn 1 was like, I'm literally around the corner from you.
So it had to be that I went for, because otherwise I'm hitting a wall and literally stopping to get hit by a wall.
Exactly, so
I don't mind that.
I think you did right with that to try and get rid of it. But
but the dice fell, the game played, turn 7 ended, and I'm left with the Dreadnought.
Yeah. If it helps, your lone custodian went down valiantly.
It does not help.
Oh my god. We have taken loads of photos from this game, so please go to the Facebook page, have a look at those photos. I think you'd agree both armies looked absolutely spectacular. Your painting skills are fantastic, guys, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the channel. This is what we need. We need great guys, great armies, and really unique lists to showcase on the channel. And this is what the channel is all about. It's all about quality. I've really enjoyed it. I know it was a really tough game. Yeah, it was super tough, but it was quite. It was a 9 or a 10 on the end of the scale, I think.
Especially towards the end when it started to get that little bit more clutch.
Yeah,
especially with the Praetor combat. I think I maybe should have just attacked the unit instead of a challenge, but
We'll see. We don't know. We're exploring stuff. We might get some sisters in those Custodes squad as well. Make it a talents list, but We'll see. Now, don't forget, if you want to talk directly to Jamie or Lyon about their painting, their game, their lists, or whatever they've done, you can both follow them on Instagram. So, Jamie, where can we find you?
Mine's Milligan_1992.
Fantastic.
And mine is LP_miniatures.
Great stuff. And I know, Lyon, you've got you've both got quite a big presence on Facebook as well. You also do your own sort of
we've got our own pages.
Yeah.
So I don't really post much in it as such because I usually just go through Instagram.
Okay.
Because it's better for talking, I find anyway.
No worries.
I post equally on both, but I might post different things on Insta because you do smaller amounts of writing and you can do the sort of slideshow. And I'll put bigger write-ups on my Facebook when I've got more time. So
great stuff.
Both really for me.
So please give these guys a follow if you haven't already, or leave us a comment and let us know how you thought the game went. I know it was at the top end of the scale as we've just mentioned, but we can't just showcase easy games, medium games. We have to show a broad spectrum to be a little bit more wider ranging, I guess. But gents, again, you put some amazing mileage and time. I thank you for that.
Thank you for
amazing effort.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your comments and all your likes and that we get, and we love interacting with you. Some of the comments are a bit wild, so we try to deal with those as best as we can. But please be civil on the Facebook page and through the website. We're doing this for you, and there is quite a bit of abuse that comes back, and it's not cool, guys. We're trying our best for you, so please give that a bit of respect, gents. Thank you again. That's like 5 times now.
Well done, 2-2. I'll get my dear.
These guys will definitely be back. So maybe leave us a comment about what sort of game you'd like them to play next. Maybe points levels, whether it's another larger game or a smaller game, whatever you want. And we'll see you in the next game.